So today we're discussing the new role of managers. So that means there was an old role and it may change. So let's start. So what do record companies do? Record companies market and sell recorded music. So they find an artist, you create content, they distribute, and they sell. Traditional radio companies, they build audiences to lease to advertisers. So the reason why advertisers pay money is because the radio stations are reaching an audience, right? Advertisers purchase spot advertising from radio stations within specific programming. So that's why you have peak period, you have concert promoters sell live experiences, right? Now, let's look at them again. How does media buying affect airplay? Because what we just mentioned here, advertisers, is media buying. Can you guys put your phones on silent? So how does media buying affect airplay and vice versa? This is a side note. Not everything you see here will be not everything I say will be in the notes I sent you. Alright, let me explain. Let's say you are an advertiser, right? You're a media buyer, you represent a major corporation, and they want to buy advertising slots on a radio station, right? So I tell you I want peak period. So I pay you, you go into the radio station and you tell them I want to buy XYZ amount of slots during your peak period, right? Prime time or peak period. Welcome. Now, as an advertiser, are you listening to that radio station to make sure that they're playing that advert properly? Are you? You should, right?
Yes.
Okay. So let's go past that. Now, if your advert is about to play, what do you want the radio station to play before your advert? The popular song, the song everybody wants to listen to, right? Which means to draw traffic. How many times have you been, tuning through the radio station when you hear a song like, and then you hear the one you like, right? That's how media buying affects airplay. So the top artists get more play during prime time because radio stations need to push traffic, need to bring traffic in so that they can sell to a higher percentage. So if I'm an advertiser and by 7 o'clock when you're supposed to be advertising my product, you are playing one unknown artist, I will call the radio station. I have no beef against the artist. I just feel like that song is not known enough to push my brand. So I need you to play a song. Now, what does this mean? Does this mean that at some point somebody isn't checking who are making requests? Text messages, tweets, Facebook messages, calls. Do you get what I'm saying? Somebody is checking. So if somebody is checking, part of what you want to do is that when they're checking, they should see that your artist is being requested. So these things already work the way they work. What you just need to do is figure out how they work so you can take advantage. So now look at all these things that are done. So what is the manager's job? What is the manager's job? Bear in mind, in the current economy and the current music economy, the artist can do all of these things. I told you last week about how we collected data and use it to buy adverts from brands or to get brands to pay for adverts. Right? So we collected data, built a following. Right? It's just not done the same way the radio station would do it. But so you build an audience that you can lease to your advertisers. As an artist, you collect data of your Instagram followers, your Facebook followers, you're engaging them on a regular basis, you know where they live, you know who they are, you have their numbers, you can reach out to them, all of that great stuff. That means you have a body of people that you can actually sell something to. So you can lease your audience to your advertisers, right? So your advertisers can purchase from you. An artist can actually put together his own event. So you can develop and sell your own live experience. So yes, you need radio station to play your music and reach a higher, but you can also, on a smaller scale, sell your audience. So what exactly is the manager's role? Before we tell you what the manager's role is, you see this statement? Yeah? At some point, you will not feel like you are probably the most important person in the artist's life. Because the artist may not let you feel that way. You need to understand that we all have egos, right? We all have, we all feel, or we've all been hurt in a certain way. So an artist will feel like if I give you too much power, if I make you feel like you're important to me, you slack. Checks and balances, right? So you need to get your head out of emotional behavior or emotional responses to every single thing that happens. Do you understand what I'm saying? You don't respond emotionally to everything that happens to you as an artist, as a manager rather, because there's something I will say to you today that you must hold. Every day I'll try to drop these, tips. As a manager, you do not manage emotions. You manage situations. If you're trying to manage emotions, you're going to get frustrated. So focus on building work ethic and principles for yourself so that when the artist acts emotionally, it does not affect your work. Consistently be objective. Always check emotions, principles. The moment you start making decisions based on a lot of emotions, you start making a lot of bad decisions. Especially as a manager. Somebody's career is in your hands. Right? So you are actually the most important person to the artist. Well, apart from the lawyers. They're extremely important. But you see, at some point, your manager may be the person who has to liaise with the lawyers. So the manager needs to know what he's doing. Right? So what's the role of managers? Once again, I decided I will read it out. It's small. Before I tell you the role of manager, before we even discuss this thing, I want to ask you, do you really want to do this? Are you sure that is what you want to do? You want to engage artists? Are you sure? Let's just break it down. First of all, you become a facet of every part of their life. Which means significant involvement in solving personal problems. Babes, boyfriends, family issues, money issues, depression, anger, breakup, landlord. You become a part of their life. Once you take that job, you can't walk away from it. It's your responsibility to make sure that they're in the frame of mind and the position to continue to deliver on them on work as an artist. You have to keep them together. The industry changes frequently, which means while you think that you know now, next week a law might be passed that changes everything. MTN could drop 2 million subscribers from Music Plus as they did last month because NCC said legally acquired. So 2 million people. So the platform where most Nigerian artists are making a chunk of revenue from has just lost 2 million subscribers. That's a lot of money gone. So changes will happen. You have to consistently adapt. You must be patient with people and with things. I was talking to someone one day, and the manager, it was the manager to an I think I mentioned it to you guys, and he was talking about how he was at a place, and can you imagine, they made him wait for 1 hour, 30 minutes. So I'm listening to this conversation, right? He wasn't actually talking to me directly, but I was just around. So I said, 1 hour, 30 minutes, that's long. While I'm saying this, bear in mind, I'm remembering that at one point, I was waiting at the Blue office for 4 hours for a 300,000 naira check. Right? So he's talking, and I'm like, okay. So when he finished, spewing his anger, and I asked him, what's the name of the receptionist? Like, well, hold on to the receptionist. The receptionist is going to pay me. And I said, well, the receptionist will not pay you, but the receptionist will tell you when Oga will come out, or if Oga is actually busy. You have to be patient with people and with things. You have to be patient with your artist. One of the things people think, as I said, we manage situations, not emotions. We try to force artists to think like us. And this is something I learned recently. An artist cannot think like you. If you're a business person, be a business person. But the artist cannot, under any circumstance. I know how many times I've had conversations with people. Even after I know this, it's still difficult for me. Because the time that artists do something, I'm like, I don't even understand. The truth is, I can't. And the more I dwell on it, the more difficult it is for me to do my job. Right? So focus on what? Situation. Not, you know what, I'll be turning this myself. Abi? Situations, not emotions. You will not matter to everybody. No is a part of what happens. People will tell you no a lot. But let's put it in perspective. In 2015, I wrote over 80 proposals. Right? Only about 6 of it clicked. 20 proposals. 80 proposals. 6. If we divide 80 by 6, what's that? If we divide 80 by, someone help me out. I actually want to know. 12. So for every one job I got, I sent 12 proposals. Hi, welcome. So let's put it in perspective. I could be angry about it, but then I could think, you know what? That means if I want to get one job, I should talk to 12 people. It becomes a ratio thing. But the more you do that, you will now realize that the better you get at it. Imagine selling one artist to 80 people. That means 80 people now know the artist. As long as I can continue to grow the career of the artist, I have 80 people I can go back to. So every time I edit the proposal, I have 80 people who I've spoken to. They said no, fine. Now I need to figure out what they're doing next and go back. Do you guys understand? You are only a player in this business if you are relevant. And that's usually based on current activities. See, yes, I managed MI. I managed Whiskey. Fantastic. What am I doing now? Because as the industry changes, expectations change. And if you stop, just like a guy who finishes primary 6 and says, I know everything, I'm not going to secondary school. People are going to continue growing. They're going to go to university. They're going to get jobs. They're going to meet friends, do whatever they're doing, and you'll be stuck. Well, education, as far as education is concerned, that's the same thing we're discussing. It will drain you. I don't mean to put my lawyer on the spot, but ask my lawyer. There are some days when I'm like, I want to relocate. It will drain you. You cannot take things personal. As I said earlier, don't be emotional about the job. You understand? You cannot take things personal. We're all learning this, including myself. But it's the fact. You can't hold on to grudges with your artists. How are you going to make money? People will waste your time. I'll tell you a story. There was a time I was pitching some business to a client. And the entire time I was talking to this guy who said he was XYZ. I sent proposals, done presentations, everything. He wasn't the decision maker. 2 months, I was just wasting my time. One day, we're somewhere, someone introduces me to his boss. And I was like, I've sent proposals, like, I've reviewed proposals 3 times. I've come into your office. He's like, what for? So I explained to him, oh, this campaign you're running, I brought this. He was like, who have you been talking to? I told him. He said, you know what? Come to the office on Thursday. Imagine I show up. The guy's like, what's up? So I show up, first of all. I didn't call him out. I didn't tell him I was going. I show up at this office. They buzz me in. They tell Oga that I'm here. So here is staff who has been leading me on for 2 months. I didn't tell you to come to the office today. I said I didn't come to see you. Why are you here? Your boss told me to come. Oh, okay. Yeah. So what are you guys discussing? I don't know. The same thing I've been discussing with you for 2 months. Right? So people will waste your time. Including artists. Somebody told me the other day, you don't touch small artists. You don't bring up artists. And I said, the artists that I started with that became popular, what were they? What were they? So as I grow, I come to a point where I need to now start managing my time. I have 7 clients. I can't talk to everyone. And as horrible as that sounds, is the reality. Right? So people will call you, set up. So now that's why I charge for my time. Because I've sat in some weird meetings. You will make mistakes and you'll be disappointed. I told you guys last week how I left Whiskey at the airport in Dubai. I was already experienced in this game, you know. But I slept off and Whiskey landed in Dubai and I was asleep. You will make mistakes. You need to learn to recover quickly. You'll be disappointed. You need to learn to recover quickly. Character has a lot to do with the job. Right? Hard work is not enough. Hard work is not enough. Continue to educate yourself, continue to learn, ask questions, build relationships, build a network, grow your brand, grow yourself. Hard work is not enough. Finally, you cannot hold grudges. You don't have the luxury. You cannot. You know why? As a manager, recently I just closed the deal with my clients. The brand manager of that brand offended me in 2009. He messed me and my client up in 2000 and what? 9. 2017, I have a new client. I'm going to discuss a deal. Guess who I need to talk to? same guy. You can't hold a grudge. It doesn't help you. It's not even in the same company. It's actually in a competing brand. So he has been put. This is just. This is just. Alright, guys. Mr. Ibrahim. So, do you understand what I'm saying? As much as I have been, I was thinking, F this guy at that point, but I had to get over it. So, literally, how many years later? 8-9 years later, I'm dealing with a competing brand, and I still have to deal with him. There are people who have been very offensive to me after I lost my biggest clients, and then now they still have to deal with me. You can't hold grudges. What's the role of the manager? What it was. In those days, what the manager needed to do was find a sponsor or a label for the artist. Once you get the artist, that was the height. That was, this guy is a successful manager. You find me a record deal that will cover my costs, make me a Superman and a big artist. Not anymore. Artists are getting popular before they even get signed these days. Labels don't want to invest money if they're not sure that the person they're putting their money on can actually sell. Before Soulja Boy actually dropped Superman, it was already selling in Atlanta. You know the song now? Well, that's that one. It was already selling in Atlanta. They just needed to amplify it to the rest of the world. So labels are not wasting money anymore. So just because you have a manager does not guarantee that you get a deal. Also, because you get a deal doesn't guarantee that you will succeed. There are independent artists who are generating good amounts of money without signing to any record label. So the roles have changed. So what are the two things we do business for? What's the main reason we do business? To make money, Abi. More importantly, to make profits. Because you can be making money and be losing. Right? So more importantly, to make profit. Right? Now, the role of the manager, the new role of the talent manager is business development. What happens when you don't have somebody funding the artist? What happens when you can't find the label? Because I get a lot of calls from people who are like, Baba, can you get a deal? With which company? The labels that we have that seemingly work are like 3. And they are full. They have enough artists on their hands to worry about already. Right? So, what do you do as a manager? What is business development? In very simple terms, identifying opportunities, generating revenue. Those are the most important things. Then there's managing your team, the artist team, which I will get into in a bit. Right? Yeah. I'm just going to put these things in this thing one step by step. Always follow through on your promises as a talent manager. It helps define your character to others. You can't keep all your promises. Just make sure that most of the promises that you make, you can actually keep. Because over time, when you have 10 different artists saying that this guy is rubbish, your career is gone. I've had people who have said, this Godwin is useless. I've also had people who have said, I don't agree. Do you understand? I've had people who have said to people I have done work for that this Godwin doesn't know what he's doing. And some of those people have actually believed it until someone else has come to say, but that's not what the case is. Do you understand? So try your best to keep your promises. It's important for character.